The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Morning Market Kickoff with your host, Tommy O'Brien. Now, Tommy O'Brien.
Good Monday morning, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien, coming to you live from TFNN. We kick things off in positive territory. Quite the night in futures overnight. You open, you see the action on a 15-minute S&Ps. We drive down right on the open, 6,014. If you bought the open, you're up more than 1%. S&Ps, 6,084. We're positive by 0.6%, or 35 points in the green, 6,084. NASDAQ 100 right now. You see the acceleration, right? So much for a negative open. We get some tariff news talking about steel, as well as some others. We'll talk about that in a moment, but maybe the market was a little bit worried about tariff escalation once again. We shake it off. We're higher prices, 21,784. You're up by 0.9%, or 194 points in the NASDAQ 100. Dow up 257, or 0.6%. You see the surge. All the markets opening lower last night and catching a bid almost instantly. Russell up by 0.6%, or 13 points at 2301. Bitcoin up $2,300, 98,330 right now. Crude. So last week we make it to almost 70. We're up a little bit on crude, all things considered, 71.87. Not that bad at the pump right now, to say the least. 71.87. And how about gold, man? It don't stop, folks. Gold, all-time highs, 29.37. And this is in the face of a pretty strong dollar right now. As we jump, okay? You jump over to the 10-year. We're talking about a 10-year yield right now of 4.48. We're right where we were on Friday. A little bit of lower price, higher yield, 4.48. The yield on the 10-year. You jump over to the dollar index, DXY, right where we were on Friday. Close the session as well, 108.22. But gold, not the case, man. Gold, strong like bull. 29.37. 3,000's out there, man. It's right on. We're knocking on the door right now at 3,000. Talked about it on this program. And yeah, you're looking at an area, folks. We're coming up to. I mean, if gold is on the way, and I think it is, we just broke away here. Let's get a little clarity here. Let's take off this one, and let's take off this line. Look at the way gold is breaking above the high of October 28th. This is a weekly chart, folks. We haven't had a red week yet. Coming into February from 2,600 to 29.22, you put that on a daily, and we got a few reds in there, okay? But look at this run we've got going on right now since the end of December, from 2,600 to 29.22. And what's important to look at here is the dollar hasn't moved, okay? That is gold strength priced in dollars, equal dollars. So what's going to happen if gold pulls back? That's going to be a wind at its sail. Now, it's not necessarily how it's going to move, because there's a little bit of, I want to call them unusual dynamics. Not really, right? But as in usually, the dollar strengthens, gold goes down, okay? The dollar weakens, gold goes up. Gold has been remarkably strong, trading with the dollar over time, so you may have an impact here that when things reverse themselves eventually, and they will, folks, okay? This is, when you deal with currencies and you deal with that change, when you're talking about tariffs, there will be a change to a certain degree, as in, we're going to see a little weakness at some point, okay? That's the point. We've just had a straight shot from 100 to 110. We see the way the currencies can oscillate, right? Even when we had the shot from 95 to 115, boom, we're back at 100 in 8 months from that point, okay? So don't get caught up in the fact that it'll be there forever. But when we do get a pullback, man, that is going to be an impetus with that gold contract as we are pushing. You look at gold, right? It's remarkable. From 1,600, we're going to double in price almost to 3,000. Now, can't help but talk about it, right? And that is, and you see why it matters, as in 1,600, right? When the dollar was strengthening, you had gold go from 2,000 down to 1,600. Dollar strengthens up to 115, gold gets hammered down to 1,600. Well, what's happened? The dollar, okay, from the time that the dollar, I mean, look at this. Realistically, the dollar is right where it was the week of November 7th, that's not really fair because you pulled back so harshly, but where we were November 14th, November 21st, okay? And there's where gold was, November 15th, November 21st. The dollar was already trading at 108, and gold was just approaching 1,800. And now it's at 2,900. If we ever do get a little bit of a pullback, that's going to be that extra little wind, okay? Because it has done all of that move on a $108. Think about that. Now, we've moved down, we moved up, okay? I can't help but harp on it a little bit, folks, because it's remarkable when you look at November 7th, November 14th, November 21st, okay? We were sitting at almost 108. We're at 108 right now. Yeah, we went far below that, far back up, all of that. Nonetheless, keep your eye on gold, man. I think it's just starting. And just starting might be pushing it. But it could be, because that could be the start of the next leg, man. 2,600 coming into the year, that could be the start of the next leg. And don't be surprised, because when you go big picture on gold, all right? Gold was trading at almost 2,000 in the year 2011. It's 14 years later, okay? We were at 2,000, and that's really where the first run began. So would it be that outlandish if we were trading at 2,000 if you, and that's where we again go back, right? We're at 1,600. I was just talking about. You're at 1,800. This run really begins at 2,000, and that's where, would it be that outlandish? If that breakaway from 2,000, you do an A to B, C to D, where you're only breaking away from a level that we were at 13 years ago. So keep your eye on gold, man. They are on fire. And we got some gold equities coming out with their earnings. We're going to talk about that after the first break. This week, we got some companies coming out in terms of the gold market with their earnings. We'll talk about that, like I said, after we come back after the first break. But, man, look at this market, right? Relentlessly strong. And, yeah, you go back to yields for a moment, and we'll see where they go. No huge reaction when you look at where we are, but let's look at the headline of the morning. 25% tariffs on steel and aluminum imports. President going to announce reciprocal tariffs in the coming days, so this spooked the markets a little bit last night. Anytime you see new tariffs getting announced, you never know really what's coming down the line. But he said he's going to apply the tariffs to shipments from all countries, including Mexico and Canada. Right? This is where things got a little ratchet up. Did not specify when the duties would take effect. It's all in negotiation, folks. President also says he's going to announce reciprocal tariffs this week on countries that tax U.S. imports. Those would be enacted almost immediately. So there's a little bit of volatility potentially coming down the line. All right? Yeah, and it comes back to Mexico and Canada most importantly. He announced, then he paused, Canada and Mexico, 10% levy on the China shipments. U.S. relies on aluminum, Canada, UAE, Mexico. Look at the numbers, man. Imports of steel and aluminum. Steel, Canada. Mexico, 6.5. Aluminum, Canada. All Canada. So this is a negotiation. And that's what the market's a little worried about, because we don't know. It's probably not always going to play out like it did last time, right? In terms of tariffs placed on Sunday, they go into effect Monday night at midnight, and there's an 11th hour reprieve. Not always going to play out. So keep those spikes up. We had a lot to talk about. We'll come back. We're going to talk some gold company earnings when we come back, folks. Stay tuned. If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento, a pro's pro with over 50 years of experience. Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed with detailed commentary, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets, with updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
Building wealth trading in the stock market seems impossible to most people. They think it's too volatile and risky. Most people aren't going to take the time to educate themselves on how to do it right. But you're not most people, are you? At TFNN, you'll get the guidance you need to refine your strategies and techniques to invest like a pro. Because you'll be a pro. All TFNN subscriptions, books, software, and courses are available at TFNN.com. And I'm even going to tell you how to get them for less. Use TFNN's Tiger Dollars and you'll get up to a 20% bonus on your purchase. And once you apply them to your account, Tiger Dollars are automatically used for all future or recurring charges. Tiger Dollars also never expire, are fully transferable, and are a great way to add savings to your newsletters or services. Become the investor you were born to be at TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger Zen. Hosted at Discord, TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger Zen, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
This portion of the Morning Market Kickoff is brought to you by Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the direction. Visit Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Welcome back, folks. We have the S&Ps right now up by 32 points, or about 0.5%, trading at 6,081. NASDAQ 100 up by 175. We jumped around to some of the equities moving. We got McDonald's out with their numbers, up by about $8. Their conference call beginning at about 8:30. We're pushing the highs at 302 right now. We talk a little Mickey D's. Stronger international results is the headline. Yeah. 2 quarters of same-store sales declines, but guess what? They're back in the green on that number. Same-store sales climbing 0.4%. Analysts were looking for a decline. That's always a huge metric, in my opinion. 2 straight negative quarters. Sales were the weak spot in the U.S., falling 1.4% in the quarter. Steeper than what the market was looking for, but guess what? It's not all just about here. They had an E. coli outbreak at some point in there. But yeah, the 2 international divisions, with the business that includes Japan and the Middle East, 4.1% increase, quite a number there. And the other international segment, France, the UK, largely flat. So where are you growing? Japan and the Middle East if you're buying McDonald's. Okay? Not a lot of people would realize that unless you're really digging into the details, right? Yeah. All right, we jump to other companies. This one was an interesting one from Bloomberg. Before we get into these gold equities, and we are getting into them, folks. We're going to talk Barrick Gold. We're going to talk Agnico Eagle. But this one's an interesting one. So they're talking about Pepsi, and they're talking about milk, and they're talking about billions of dollars. The headline, where is it? There it is. Coke's $7 billion bet on milk hits big, but Wall Street wants more. The Fairlife brand has become crucial to Coca-Cola's pivot from sugar, but now the soda giant needs to convince investors there's more. Let me tell you, folks, the reason why, I think I got 2 or 3 Fairlife containers of milk in my fridge right now. It's an outstanding product. If you're looking, it's ultra I better get exactly how they do it in terms of giving them. I was going to give them a free, and what do they say? Ultra filtered. I was going to say ultra processed. I said that's not what it is. It's ultra filtered. It's lactose free. Okay. It's got 50% more protein. It's got much less sugar. Now, we don't get the chocolate one because that's just, but nonetheless, if you're doing it, man, I make some when we were giving Tommy milk when he was very young, we were giving him whole Fairlife milk. Much less sugar, more protein, healthy fats, ultra filtered. And so sometimes, remember when I tell you folks to listen to yourself a little bit, right? Especially when you're a young kid. All right, you learn about this. Kids need milk, okay? They need the vitamins that are in it. Let's put it that way. You can get them outside of that, but there is, we're talking about vitamin D, certain areas. But yeah, you're talking about, in this area, how about it? 900 employees. The super tasters is what they're going, is what they're trying to figure out, man. Fairlife filters its milk to boost protein, reduce sugar by half, and eliminate lactose. It's great, man. And they say it's creamier. I think it's great, and I just think it's great because it's just as tasty. And, you know, what I've really come to be vigilant about, folks, is added sugars. If you look at anything on, and there's a lot to look at, all right? It does come down. We're going to talk a little health because we're talking Fairlife, but it is interesting. If you've never tried it, check it out, folks. Number one, it's lactose-free. I'm not lactose intolerant, but I think that feels better on my body, so I go with it. It's got much less sugar, especially versus Maine, and it's got more protein. So it's almost like a little protein shake. Then you're adding it in there with less fat, and the key, though, less sugar. Fairlife, despite being about 3 times the price of traditional milk, retail sales topped $1 billion. Yeah, it's pricey. It is. And that's the problem with a lot of healthy foods to a certain degree, right? You want cheap foods, man? Go buy cereal from Sam's. You'll get the cheapest food in the world, okay? But it's not going to deliver you what you need because processed carbs are just so easy to produce on that level. But yeah, it is a little pricey for sure. But how about sales being up 1,000% from where they were in 2015 when they went nationwide? Remarkable that they only went nationwide in 2015 when you think about it, man. Tommy was born in 2021. And here I was elated to be able to buy those. I was looking into it, man. Milk's got a lot of sugar, folks. Did you know that? Milk has got a lot of sugar. We're digressing. But yes, milk has got a lot of sugar. Whew. So 60%, okay, from Coke sales come from soda and other concentrates, while finished drinks such as Minute Maid orange juice make up the rest. And that's been about the ratio over 6 years. Pepsi is the other way around. 60% of its sales come from food brands such as Doritos. Much different company. Okay, if you're buying Pepsi, you better believe you're buying food brands such as Doritos. Okay? But Coca-Cola, not the case. But yeah, that Fairlife one, man, they got to make more acquisitions like that. I am a huge fan of that product, and I always like to put it out. If you've never been familiar, man, you're looking to get back, you know, sometimes a little protein shake, something like that. Yeah, nonetheless, we take a look at those two equities. You got Pepsi shares. They were out their earnings last week. Not so well, man. From 196 down to 144. And Coca-Cola from 73 down to 64. You're a little bit higher this morning. Okay. All right, jumping around to earnings. All right, we take a look at Barrick Gold. Well, look at this little run we got going on, of course. Now, it's always interesting, right? You look where gold is, and you look at the chart of these equities, man. Some of them, all gold equities not created the same. Yeah. If you haven't tried out the gold report, folks, I'm writing the gold report now, trying to continue that legacy, live up to that for my dad, of course. Tough shoes to fill, to say the least, but nonetheless, there'll be a new report out today. And yeah, we got gold at all-time highs at 2,900 and change. But you're going to get Barrick. Let me see, I got them written down here. You get Agnico Eagle as well. 3 biggest gold miners are preparing their fourth quarter earnings. Yeah, we got Agnico Eagle, Newmont as well, and Barrick, okay, out in the next 10 days or so. I think we get Barrick coming up. We get Agnico Eagle reporting Thursday, and then we got Newmont next week. When's Newmont? I think next Thursday is the number. Look at Agnico Eagle. Look at the difference of these two charts, right? This is a strong one, folks. You're looking for equities you want to put on your radar. Put AEM on your radar, man. And the gold report, look at the volume of these, right? Look at that acceleration on February 5th. This is a daily. 4.2 million shares, dwarfing anything else that we have on that chart for Agnico Eagle. You actually break back within the channel line that you started the beginning of the year at $44. We're pushing 100. What was the other one I said? Newmont. NEM. Yeah. Ugly. All right. Now, you got a little turnaround. You're breaking above the highs that we had back in May of 2024. But, boy, they disappointed in grand fashion. Yeah, last earnings. So be skeptical of that one. But AEM, put that one on your chart, man. One of the strongest equities in the gold report. Don't own it right now, but looking for a pullback on some light volume. And you're going to open with a 100 handle. We'll talk a little bit more about gold when we get back. Stay tuned, folks.
This year has already been a wild ride for the market. We started off heavily in the red, reversed back to all-time highs, and we now have a trade war looming. Trying to play this chop as an individual trader leads to death by 1,000 cuts. Where does this market go next? Should I add to this position or cut my losses? Where is the next opportunity? Tariffs, trade wars, analysis paralysis. Don't become a victim of this intense market. Instead, join Larry Pesavento over the second and fourth Friday of every month for 3 hours of live trading. Larry's been through many markets just like this one, and the insight he provides is invaluable. The events for this month are February 14th and 21st, 9 a.m. to noon Eastern Time. Get in here and let's start trading. TFNN, educating investors.
If you spend any time online researching trading techniques on how to begin your trading journey, you've no doubt come across many folks who push Forex trading as a way to make big money quickly. Unfortunately, there are equally as many stories of these so-called Forex professionals just looking to make a quick buck off aspiring traders without actually teaching the ins and outs of the Forex market. This is what sets Teddy Keckstack's The Tiger Forex Report off the riffraff. Every Monday, former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member and author Teddy Keckstad releases his Tiger Forex Report newsletter, where he dives into the complex world of Forex and takes time to actually teach you his methods that have made him so successful in the fast-paced and rewarding world of Forex trading. Furthermore, all subscribers receive access to archived live streams of Teddy's, where he provides university-level education to help you in Forex trading. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Forex awaits.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Welcome back, folks. We got markets open. You got the S&P up about 0.5% or 30 points in the positive, 6,078. NASDAQ 100 about 0.8% in the positive, 21,757. Dow up about 0.5% as well. Let's jump around to some of the biggest equities out there. Apple shares. We'll put it back to a 15-minute. They catch a little bit of a lift. Mr. Tim Cook, I saw him partying in New Orleans this weekend. hanging out with a couple EDM DJs out there on Bourbon Street. Nonetheless, Apple shares up by 0.9%. We jump over to Amazon. Basically flat, up by about 0.1% for Amazon. Meta shares so far up about 0.5% as well. We jump over to Tesla shares, down 1.6%. Man, it's a tough one for Tesla. It continues down $6 to $355, down 1.7%. We jump back to Nvidia, and almost the other way around for Nvidia, right? Getting back all. Look at this, man. I mean, the volatility just over the last month or so, we'll call it, from January 7th, as I mentioned before, you lost $1 trillion of market capitalization, okay? But the kicker is we've made up almost $500 million. $500 billion. You got to recalibrate your brain when you're talking about the value of these numbers. From 153 down to 111, up to 131, you're dealing with an equity that has 24.9, almost 25 billion shares outstanding. Okay, so every $10 is 250 billion. Remarkable they lost $1 trillion. Remarkable they've gained it back. Just points to how unsure the market is about the value of this company, right? Imagine that. If somebody wanted to buy the company January 7th, they were going to have to pay $1 trillion more than when they bought that, if they bought that company on February 2nd. And now they would have had to pay $500 billion more than just where it was then. Now, we know that's not how the negotiations would have went, okay? But that's how the market went, and the market's never wrong to a certain degree, and that's just how unsure to a certain degree that market is. All right, we jump to Bitcoin, nearing that 100,000 mark again. We've just been chopping around at that level for the better part, folks. We're pushing 3 months now, right? December, January, February, 3 straight months. Bitcoin could hit 100,000 3 months ago, okay? So probably due for a little bit of consolidation. Probably what you hope for if you're actually in this market for the long haul. Because look what we did. These A to B, C to Ds, man. Right? Almost to the penny, man. You make it up to a high of about 110, which is the perfect completion of the A to B, C to D, which started at the end of 2022, folks. Okay? Look at that. Right? What do? We do a little pullback. You're at 50,000, and boom, you run up and do 60 again. So we've had a little bit of consolidation there. Now you jump over to MicroStrategy. Where were you then? Yeah, be careful of this equity, folks, okay? This is, you know, I liken this to a potential lesson in position sizing, in risk management, okay? That's what MicroStrategy is dealing with. You want ultimate leverage? Buy some MicroStrategy, okay? But the problem, and I got a couple articles pulled up here. Make sure I get the right one. All right, let's get this one up first. Because he's buying more Bitcoin. Of course they are. That's what they do. It's not his fault. I saw people in the den, rightfully so, because I had to digest this one myself, right? You say to yourself, my goodness, he's buying more Bitcoin. He's buying more Bitcoin, right? Oh, my goodness, they just acquired 742 million more Bitcoin. Wow, they're taking every single dollar they get, and they're not thinking about buying pullbacks. They're not thinking about buying pullbacks, folks. This equity is simply a ultra hyper leveraged Bitcoin play. Do not think of it as a play that they are at all conscious of dollar cost averaging at a lower price. All they're doing is just leveraging other people's money that they can find through capital and just putting it to work in the Bitcoin. And that's what those investors want right now, okay? Now, they're no longer MicroStrategy. They're now just known as Strategy. And I think that's actually a good change of their name. I never quite understood MicroStrategy, that name, you know, as in I get it, but it didn't jive with why have micro in your name, right? Now here's the two artists. So this one is from last week, okay? And this is the one I was reading actually over the weekend. And then this one is out this morning talking about the buys that he had last week. I say he because he's running the show. It's their company, etc. Okay? Back to the article last week. I tell you, I was thinking, man, I got to start shorting this equity, okay, this weekend. And you better believe it's a high-risk play, okay? In the long term, I actually do believe in Bitcoin. I do. But as a trader, you have to realize that you can't trade a volatile vehicle like this and ultra leverage yourself at every moment without risking dramatic pullbacks. And I think that's what might be coming at some point. Maybe we run up to 140,000 first and then we rip lower, okay? But to check out what we're talking about here, okay, they changed some of the accounting that they had going on, okay? They had $1 billion impairment charge dragging down the operating losses, and the largest the company had taken since it started Bitcoin. They wrote down almost 15% of the $28 billion of Bitcoin that had been purchased by year end under old accounting guidelines. They got new accounting guidelines, okay? How much cash do they have on hand? $38 million. That's basically nothing. Okay, but they don't need cash. What are they doing? They're a holding corporation for Bitcoin, essentially. Okay, they plan to raise $42 billion in capital of equity offerings and fixed income securities through 2027. The capital goals are ahead of schedule, which with around $4.4 billion in equity issuance left as of January 26. Now, the part I want to get down to here, okay? The company now owns, now I don't think this factors in the other side of what just happened, as in these coins. I don't think it's factoring in the 7,000 coins it just bought, okay, these numbers from last week, but 471,000 Bitcoin tokens, okay? They're worth around $46 billion. The company's going to add new accounting. They're going to change to the fair value of its Bitcoin holdings will be reflected on the income statement. And you're going to see a shift here of a one-time change, okay? But what is interesting is, and then you bring it to this article from this morning, you talk about a company that's valued at, right now, I think you're pushing 80 billion. Let's see, you're up by 2% right now. $85 billion. Yet they only hold $46 billion of Bitcoin, okay? And you better believe, folks, that it's possible that we get a rip-roaring rally or decline in one way or the other when you have Bitcoin going from 15,000 to 110,000 over 2 years. In the span of 6 months, you go from 50 to 110. And remember that they're going to be leveraging up the entire time, okay? And yeah, so I just put it on my radar. And, you know, Bitcoin's going to be around, but you can always buy 1/1,000,000th of a Bitcoin, right? They can always decimal point it. So yeah, there's only going to be 20 million around, okay? MicroStrategy owns 2% of it, but boy, it is a dangerous game leveraging up on that Bitcoin. We'll talk a little bit more about this. We're going to talk some equities when we get back. Stay tuned, folks.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
For traders who crave risk, Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs provide opportunities to magnify short-term perspectives with up to 3 times a daily leverage, utilize bull and bear funds from both sides of the trade, and trade through rapidly changing markets. These are highly leveraged ETFs with daily resetting designed for short-term trading, not long-term investing. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the Direxion. For up-to-date pricing and performance, go to Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foresight Fund Services, LLC. Are you ready to take charge of your financial future? TFNN is your gateway to the world of trading and investing. Whether you're starting out or scaling up, TFNN empowers traders and investors of all skill levels with top-notch investing systems, strategies, and techniques. It's time to protect and grow your money with insight you can trust. Join us live Monday through Friday during market hours for exclusive content that moves with the markets. At TFNN, we bring the trading floor to you. Our seasoned hosts are here to answer your calls and questions live on the air. Check out the Tiger's Den for just $1 and follow us on YouTube and become part of our vibrant community. And remember, at TFNN, we're so confident in the value we provide that we offer a 30-day money-back guarantee on all new premium newsletter subscriptions and services. You have absolutely nothing to risk, so why wait? Tune in live to Tiger TV and transform your trading journey, because when you know better, you invest better. Join us and experience the difference today. TFNN, educating investors.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
Welcome back, folks. We got markets in positive territory. NASDAQ 100. That's a daily. Back to a 5-minute. Holding on to the pre-market gains. 21,780 right now, up by 9/10. S&P gives it back a bit, but still up by about a 30%. Dow gives it back a bit for sure, up by only 1/10% right now. And the Russell hanging on to those gains, up by just 1. Keeping our eye on gold. Yeah, it's not stopping. Up $44, $29.31. Quite the price tag on gold there. All right. We check back in on Mickey D's on their numbers. Yeah, up by 4.7%. Same-store sales rising. They were looking for a decline. And international markets buoying. A little bit of stagnation in the U.S. for Mickey D's. Now, for earnings, tomorrow, we got a big week of earnings. We got a big week of data, testimony. So how about, before we get into earnings, Chairman Powell, he's going to be in front of the Senate Banking Committee on Tuesday. He's going to be in front of the House Financial Services Committee on Wednesday. Now, the way this usually goes is if he wants to make headlines, and whether, if he does or if he does not, usually it would come in the first day, but I've seen this play out before where if the market might misconstrue to his opinion something that he says the first day when he's talking to the Senate Banking Committee at 10 a.m., maybe he drives home a different point or corrects his stance for the market on Wednesday. But nonetheless, you got Chairman Powell. He's going to be speaking. So 10 a.m. on Tuesday to the Senate Banking Committee, and 10 a.m. on Wednesday to the House Financial Services. But most times the headlines will get made the first day because everything kind of comes out. This is going to be the first time he's talking to Congress since President Trump's been in there. Look for a lot of discussions when you're talking about tariffs and how they could possibly hit, among a few other things going on, I'm sure. Going to get asked about as you go. Now, so you have Chairman Powell, 2 days of testimony in front of Congress, right? You have CPI numbers out 8:30 a.m. on Wednesday. You're going to get January CPI. The market's looking for about a 2.8% rise from a year earlier, and that would be slightly decreased from 2.9%, which is what the CPI went up in December. Okay, so we get January numbers on Wednesday for CPI. That's followed by PPI on Thursday. CPI always a little bit more important, but especially interested right now when we're talking about the Fed cuts, where we go from there. And then we get retail sales on Friday. Okay, and we get some other numbers as well. Industrial production. We get some inventories, but then on the earnings front, so we just talked about Mickey D's. We talked about Coca-Cola. Now, Coca-Cola, they'll be out with their numbers tomorrow. We jump over to the Analyze tab, and you're looking about a $2 move priced in either direction through this week. So you see these, Coke, Pepsi, very little volatility for an equity like this compared to a growth equity, right? only $2 implied in either direction. You want to buy a put or a call in Coca-Cola at the money, even though they're coming out with their numbers tomorrow? You're looking at about $1 in either way. That's all you got to make if you choose the direction right. But guess what? Not a huge reaction usually in terms of that company because they're not a growth company. Now, other equities we get tomorrow, you get DoorDash, we get Lyft, Marriott. We also get Super Microcomputer. Don't be too surprised by them, though, because everybody knows their game, right? We just went over what their game is. On a short-term basis, you got to love that, okay? On a longer-term basis, as a trader, I worry about buying into an equity that's constantly dollar cost averaging up. Imagine that, right? They're constantly dollar cost averaging up. They're never going to stop. That's their game. As traders, you should be aware, if you're doing that, boy, in something like Bitcoin, you're really setting yourself up for a dramatic pullback. If you're going to handle it, which MicroStrategy is going to, that's great. But be ready for the volatility. On Wednesday, we get Cisco, CVS, Kraft Heinz, and Robinhood. On Thursday, you get Airbnb. This stock just been chopping around. Let's go back even a little bit further since they go public. Look at this. Right where they were when they go public, December 2020. Whew, remarkable. You trade up to 220, you're back to 81. We're sitting at 134. And I guess technically we opened at 146 when they go public, December 2020. Absolutely remarkable. So Airbnb out on Thursday. You want to talk about remarkable? How about that chart? AMAT from 54. Takes them 20 years to get back to that level. Nonetheless, AMAT, decent looking chart. You get quite a little pullback, but on a weekly, all you did was you came back and tested this area in 2023. AMAT, they'll be out with their numbers on Thursday as well. Speaking of crypto, you get Coinbase. Yeah, I like that chart a lot better than I like MicroStrategy. I'm just a trader, folks, and I don't jive with dollar cost averaging all the way up at every single opportunity. But be careful of Coinbase too. You want to buy some Bitcoin, go buy some Bitcoin. That's kind of my strategy. As buy some Bitcoin, you put it in a hard wallet, you don't trust anybody else. That's the way you do it if you really want to do it. What else do we get on Thursday? We got John Deere. Up another 0.2% today, up $1 to $4.66. This thing's been on fire, man. Yeah, and we get DraftKings. Speaking of gambling, DraftKings up 0.2% today. We'll see if we start getting some numbers on gambling. The Saquon anytime touchdown did not cash, if I'm correct. I think it did not cash. Quite a game from Philadelphia last night, man. Props to the Eagles in their championship. Man, that whole team just played phenomenal. A.J. Brown, he's my fantasy receiver too, so he comes to mind, even though the whole Eagles team, they played phenomenal. Mahomes had one of the worst games that I've ever seen for him play. So tough deal with them. Very difficult to go for the 3-peat. Pat Riley out there somewhere disappointed in the Chiefs. Didn't get to sell his 3-peat merchandise. But yeah, quite a game. Pretty much over by halftime, which is remarkable when you look at that. And the Eagles put it away. Congrats to the Eagles. And Tom Brady, I think he was a happy camper last night as well. So much for the talk of the GOAT. Mahomes now gotten blown out in 2 Super Bowls. Listen, he's right up there. But to be the GOAT, you got to beat the GOAT. And that was an opportunity last night. Didn't quite get it done. Always interesting when you see people come so close. Reminds me of when Brady and the Patriots were going after the Giants for the undefeated season. And Eli, in the helmet catch, put a stop to that. But so close. But you've had Mahomes get blown out in 2 Super Bowls. They were talking about it. The few Super Bowls that Brady lost, he was right in the mix. Barely by 1 score. I think he had the ball, they were saying, right at the end. So that conversation, guess what, though? It's going to persist. Mahomes has some time. So we'll see how it plays out. Really a bummer that you never got any suspense, right? Not a bummer for those Eagles fans. I think we've seen a couple Patriots. They've probably had a couple wipeout wins. I just wanted to see a good game. And it was a great game for the Eagles, but no suspense whatsoever, man. They came out, they shut it down in dramatic fashion, and the Eagles get it done. But yeah, gambling. We'll see where we go. Saquon, he was the biggest bet out there, and he didn't get a touchdown, man. Jalen Hurts did. If you follow the season, Jalen Hurts, the anytime TD, that tush push, man. I had Saquon as my fantasy running back this year. Outstanding season. He lost about 10 touchdowns on that 1-yard push, nonetheless. The Eagles, defending champs. And who opened as the favorites, though? Who opens as the favorites? Who do you think? The Chiefs and the Ravens, with the Eagles not far behind. Those Ravens, they're close as well. All right, folks, one more segment. We'll come back. We'll talk some equities. Markets in the green to kick things off. We'll be right back.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
The reality is that navigating financial markets can be risky. Markets can be chaotic and difficult to understand. Having the latest market advice can help you turn this chaos into a key for creating winning trades. At TFNN, we understand that it can be hard to find reliable market news. That's why each of our market experts offers their very own market newsletter, a must-have tool for every trader out there striving to find an edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets so you can analyze the market before you trade. Try any of our great newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Just visit the Newsletters tab on the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Welcome back, folks. S&P's up by 24, and great question in the Tiger's Den, talking about, well, aren't they dollar cost averaging on Bitcoin on the way down? And that would be the case if Bitcoin went down. And we haven't experienced a real pullback since this equity has gone stratospheric. Okay, that's the real problem here. You back it up to September of 2023, and MicroStrategy was trading at $27 a share. September of 23. September of 23, Bitcoin's at 25,000. It's at 15,000. Okay, so you've had MicroStrategy go from $13 to $27 over this time, right? Up to 500, 543. Right? That's where I just showed you. We haven't seen this experiment play out on a deep pullback in Bitcoin. Okay, yeah, you had a pullback from what, 72,000 to 50. Okay, that's a pullback of what, 30% or so. But look at where the load up has been. Look at where MicroStrategy. So yeah, if you're in a declining market in Bitcoin and you're a long-term believer, why not load up on MicroStrategy? But I think they're in. I was just looking it up. The average price they're in at right now is $65,000. So if you had a friend out there that said, hey, man, I'm in Bitcoin at $65,000. I got a huge supply. It's great. And I'm going to keep dollar cost averaging my way up every opportunity I can. I'm going to take out a loan for every dollar I can find. And any dollar I get, I'm going to buy. They say, why are you going to do that, man? You're going to dollar cost yourself up right up to where you get any pullback. You're going to be in a loss. That's the point, to bring that forward. So, all right, we finish it up. Let's take a look at some of the other equities. Apple shares up 0.8% right now. Mickey D's with their numbers, strong numbers, man. And if you trade Mickey D's, folks, put this thing on a monthly and look at that channel line, right? Trade it until it breaks. That would be my advice. Right in the middle of that channel line right now, but Mickey D's up by 4.6%. Folks, thanks so much for kicking your trading week off right here at TFNN. It's a big week. Remember, Chairman Powell, he's going to be out there for 2 days, 10 a.m. on Tuesday, Wednesday, talking to the House and the financial services and the Senate, and then we get some earnings as well. We get CPI numbers out on Wednesday. We get PPI on Thursday. Stay tuned, folks. Basil Chapman's up next. Steve Rhodes, Larry Pesavento, Jacob Shoup after that.